I may get emotional during this, but we'll figure that out together. But as I celebrate my birthday today, I was thinking about a picture that my mother sent me a couple of days ago. And she told me to think about and to remember where I was 2 years ago. And this is the picture that she sent me. And as I sit and look at this picture, it's allowing me to reflect and to see how far I've actually grown in these past 2 years. And I would absolutely love to share with y'all the story of how I even got into this position and what I believe the Lord has done for me in these past 2 years to bring me to where I am today. First things first, I'm a recovering alcoholic. So in July of 2023, I was at a point in my alcoholism to where I knew that I needed help. I was at a point to where it wasn't fun anymore, and it hadn't been for a long time. But I was also at a point to where I knew that I wasn't going to go and get the help that I needed because I was scared to go and get help. The scary part is I was more willing to die than I was to actually get help. But on a very drunk night in July, the only thing I can even remember about this night is absolutely spilling my heart out, spilling my absolute guts out in prayer to God, begging Him for help. And the last time that I had even asked God for anything, I believe, was probably in middle school. I didn't have a relationship with Him throughout my high school years, my early to mid-20s. I didn't have a relationship with Him at all. But after that night, I really didn't think anything of it because nothing happened. And over the next couple of weeks, I had gotten to a point to where I really started not to feel well. Like I was really nauseous, I was very weak, I was very achy. I just really thought like I had a stomach bug or just something that was going around. So after about a week of me just trying to self-medicate and just rest and stay home from work, my mom finally convinced me to, hey, Richard, go to the doctor. You might need to. So we went to the doctor together, and the doctor gave me some Zofran. After another week of being out of work and taking Zofran, I had went back to the doctor, and he gave me a return to work slip. And after I got this return to work slip, I was still really not feeling well at all. But I was feeling kind of better, so I felt comfortable taking it back up to work. So after I left the doctor, I started heading up to work, and it's about 4:30, 5 o'clock in that afternoon. And I get to work, and that's when I really start not feeling well again. So I text one of my friends. I saw him sitting at the bar, and I just told him, I was like, hey man, I just ordered some food. Could you please come get my return to work slip and bring my food out? I'll give you money. I'm just really not feeling well. He's like, yeah man, I got you. So him and I do that little transaction. I get my food, I give him the money, and I give him the return to work slip. And I put my food right next to me, and I just sit there. I'm just like, I really don't feel comfortable driving. So I made the decision to sit there for a little bit, see if I can get a little bit less dizzy, see if I can feel just at least a little bit better, you know? But as I sit here and I'm trying to feel better, time just flies, and I really don't know what I'm even doing in this time. Like, I'm just sitting here and I'm so out of it, I'm so zoned out that I don't necessarily realize how long it's actually been until my general manager comes up to the window and starts knocking on it, because it had been that long. And I finally come back to a realization that it is now nighttime. And I rolled down my window. I'm just like, yeah, is everything okay? And she's like, what are you still doing here? It's 10:30 at night. And I'm just like, holy cow. And before I even realized like how long I'd actually been sitting there, and it's literally about 5 hours, I'm just like, okay. I'm comfortable. We'll drive home. I live 2 minutes away. That's okay. So I drive back to the house and I park in the front. So as I get out of my truck and I grab my things, I start walking around my truck, and the moment my foot touches the grass in the yard is the moment my body collapses. That is the moment I face plant into that yard. And anytime I try to do anything physical, anytime I try to crawl, anytime I try to get up, anytime I try to do anything other than just look at something, I just vomit up a clear liquid. And in the process of me falling, everything got thrown out of my hands. Food across the yard, water across the yard, phone, I don't know. The only thing I really remember about this night is that I was stuck in this yard face down with no help, nowhere to go. I didn't know this until afterwards, but I was even hallucinating that night that somebody was even at the house and that they were going to come back and get me after they went and go pick somebody else up. So I laid there for what felt like hours, just with my eyes on the road, just hoping to see that they would come back and that they would pull in my driveway, but they never did, because that never happened. The next thing I know, it is daylight, it is morning, and I have been laying in this yard for over 10 hours, face down. And then the next thing I remember is my roommate at the time and her boyfriend. They come shaking me, waking me up, and I'm freaking out, they're freaking out, and she's trying to get me to call my mom, and I don't even know who my mom is at this point because I'm so out of it. So after goodness knows how long of us trying to figure out who my mom is in my phone, we finally get a hold of her and she comes and gets me. My mom finally gets to the house and she takes me to the car and she helps me get in the car. And the only thing I remember after this is getting to the hospital and the people at the VA helping me out of the car and into a wheelchair. After that wheelchair, the next thing I remember is just going inside and talking to a doctor. And the only thing I remember from this doctor is that he told me that he is surprised about what he's found. That we should be planning a funeral and not a recovery plan at this point. Because I was completely dehydrated. I had complete electrolyte malnourishment. I was on the absolute brink of organ failure. I had developed Wernicke's encephalopathy. I had developed vertical nystagmus with my eyes. I was just... The doctor even said that my urine output looked like coffee grounds. And I was still so distraught at that time that I had no idea what to even think about that information. And then I don't know how long I had been out. I don't know how long I've been in this hospital, but the next thing I remember was getting woken up by a nurse asking me if it was okay if I would accept visitors. I asked her who it was and I told her yes. But as I sit up in my bed, this is where I really come to terms with I can't necessarily see anything because it's, so blurry, so double vision. But as I look up, I look around, and I just accept where I'm at, and I accept the situation I'm in. And this is where I truly believe God spoke to me. Because the only thing that I heard in that room, it was like the most loud, profound, dominating 2 words I've ever heard in my life. And all I heard was, "Now go." And I knew absolutely every single meaning that those 2 words could ever mean, just in that moment alone. And as I sat in that hospital bed, just trying to comprehend everything that just happened, this is my first moment of clarity, and I believe now God's talking to me because I am now crying in this hospital bed. And just in those 2 words alone, I believe God has given me a purpose. Because I look over to my mom and it's like the next things that come out of my mouth is, I want to be a chef. Because in these 2 years, my relationship with God has grown, and it's still growing. And I acknowledge and I know that there's a lot more that I got to learn, and there's a lot more to grow, but that's every day in life. And I've acknowledged that. But in these 2 years, the Lord has brought me out of absolute hell and into His light. And in these 2 years, he has led me to be the lead chef in a fine dining kitchen.